Oh, you know what? This is gonna be a. Okay, never mind. I had this thought. I put like 2 and 2 together, and this is still the intro. I'm still making this the intro, at least on YouTube, and Sean may do it.
Okay, yeah.
On it. I just had this like revelation of these two topics connecting that we have, and I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be like awkwardly similar, or not awkwardly similar. They're going to be connected by accident. But anyways, welcome to the Metapod, a Pokemon TCG podcast that revolves around the evolving meta. My name is Jake. This is Sean. Sean, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Just big chillin'. We were talking about Gen Con just before we started recording.
We were. I got word that Sean is going to go to Gen Con, and I am right next to Gen Con. But I will not be living in Indianapolis during Gen Con, so I gotta coordinate getting down here, and
I'm flying
and
2 hours your
Sean.
direction, so now you got to drive an hour and a half my direction.
Yeah, I mean it's all fair because you have to fly like what, 4 hours, 3 hours?
No, it's like a 2-hour flight.
Oh, I don't even know.
Oh yeah, I used to go to Cincinnati all the time for work, and from New York it's like 2 hours to Cincy, so like Indianapolis is not much further.
All right, it's easy. It's easy. All my stuff is missing though. It got taken to my parents' house because I'm moving. So don't mind the gross, weird stuff behind me.
Yeah, where's your mug, Jake? Where's your mug? You don't have a mug.
I don't have a mug. I have a Qdoba drink today.
I know. So anybody who's listening. And I'm looking. Who was it? Sleepy Dreepy? Somebody out there was coming after me about my mug on Twitter as well. So I ordered a mug. You will all see it. Jake has seen a preview, but you will all see it when I get it.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Mug.
I like the mugs. I expect Sean to use it literally every single week.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we don't drink coffee usually during this time, neither him or I. But it's fine. It's fine. We'll make it work. We'll start being coffee drinkers at 6 p.m. at night.
That's right.
But we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. We did get some things revealed both in outside of Japan and inside of Japan. I am most excited about the inside of Japan part because there's a certain character that got a card that, whoo boy, is going to make me lose a lot of money. But we've got a couple of things on what has been happening within the Pokemon card community as well as the meta to talk about. So, Sean, we got, boy, we got a full episode. The Metapod actually talking about the meta. That's the biggest point.
Do you want to get us kicked off with the 5-star review? We skipped it last week, and then I was like, wait, have we read this one? And Jake was like, no, we have not. So, Jake.
So yeah, we didn't do one last week because we had the guests on the Metapod, and so we wanted it to be pretty much all about them. So we appreciate everybody that has recently left a review. We're actually at 46 ratings. 46, absolutely insane. This one that we're reading, though, on July 1st, the top-notch Pokemon podcast, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars from Huertocito. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. I'm not the greatest at pronunciations, but I know how to read, Sean. I don't know if you knew that. I dove into podcasts and talks on YouTube for my PTCGO game and overall Pokemon news. This podcast is pretty much the only one on the web for consideration. Thank you. I work for PSA as a card sealer, and once I get an order of Pokemon cards to seal on my desk, I immediately listen to the latest and back episodes. I live for every week to hear Jake call Sean by his name during the episodes. Kudos to Jake for picking up this week solo since Sean was out. Feel better, Jake, and I would totally sign a petition for naming Pokemon graduation for the 30th anniversary. Keep up the great work, gentlemen. Sean, you keep up the great work.
Thank you. You too, Jake. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Pokemon graduation is it's a very good name for the 30th anniversary.
I'm telling you, if anybody from Pokemon just wants to talk to me, you want to hire me as an advisor.
They want to pay you for the name.
I don't know what those, the brainstormer. I don't know. What are those people called, Sean? I don't have a real job.
You're the idea man. That's the unofficial title. I'm just the idea guy.
Pokemon wants to hire me as the idea guy. I am open for talks, but you got to pay for some dental insurance. That's all I'm going to say.
That's the cheap stuff. No, you need the health insurance. The dental is like $10 a month.
But see, this is why I need someone like you, Sean, because I didn't know that.
I
I've
can
never paid
negotiate
for it in
for
my
you.
life.
Yeah, I'm living
still
that
on
corporate
my parents'
life.
insurance. I'm gonna ride that puppy till I turn 26.
All right, fair enough. I mean, I think I might have done that actually. I might have been on my parents until I was like.
I mean, like,
yeah.
it's not a bad idea.
No, it's a
It's
great
not
idea.
a bad idea.
Insurance good.
But anyways, you know what else is not a bad idea, Sean? Putting the V Union cards in a future promo box. So that is going to be our first topic of today. Pokemon officially revealed. This is from PokeGuardian.com. Greninja, Mewtwo, Zacian V Union special collection boxes revealed. So coming up in this, the boxes of the V Unions, you may have remembered us talking about them, about how there are 4 cards that you have to pull from the discard pile to put onto your bench. Kind of seems absurd and kind of whack, but they're finally coming here. They come with 4 booster packs inside of them. 4 booster packs, 1 oversized card of the V Union. I think, don't quote me on this, but I feel like the oversized card of the V Union is basically like all the cards put together without them split.
Oh, yeah, I think you're
it's
right.
Like the same size, it's just them put all together, right?
It's like off to the side. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's a mock-up of, it's kind of a mock-up of the box. You got the packs on one side, the 4 cards in the middle, and then there's like another little card off to the right that looks like, to your point, the artwork that's not divided up.
It's basically a jumbo card.
Yeah.
That's how I think of it. It'll probably, I don't think it'll be the same. Will it be the same size as a jumbo card though? I have plenty of jumbo cards. I'm trying to think about like a normal TCG card size. And if 4 of those would, I think it's probably like the same size as a jumbo card.
It might be, yeah. They might be like, when you put them together, about the same size.
Yeah, so that's really interesting because they've also released binders for the Sword and Shield jumbo cards where you can like put them in sleeves and stuff in a binder. So I think my hypothesis is that these V Union boxes will actually work in that aspect. But these will release on September 24th this year, retailing for $30. 4 packs, 1 set of a V Union Pokemon, and a jumbo card, Sean.
You know what I would be... So there's a couple things, but in terms of the jumbo, what I just thought about, I wonder if people will bring the jumbo card with them if they're playing this in their deck. And then when they do summon Exodia from the graveyard, if they just like, instead of, because we were talking like you're going to need a spatula to move the V Union from the bench to the active and back and all that stuff. And I'm like, maybe people will just actually proxy the jumbo card in instead of all 4 cards on the field. Like, if they actually are the same size, I wouldn't, to me, like, it's a proxy of a thing that exists. Like, it's not that crazy.
I mean, here's my thought. I could see like a league challenge or local Pokemon league being like, yeah, sure, whatever. As long as like either the player or the judge acknowledges that the V Union thing of the 4 coming from the discard onto the bench like was done, right?
Yeah.
I don't see it being done at like a regional or worlds though.
Yeah, I think you're right. But I would urge anybody who gets into this.
I think that's a fabulous idea. Like, I think that's an excellent, the most useful the jumbo cards have ever been.
Right.
But I don't think they'd allow it at like a regional or worlds or anything like that.
I know. I mean, they're like, you know, to any regional judges out there, though, I will say, who's a regional? Is Alex Schmansky a regional judge? I think he is. I don't know. I've never been to a regional. Well, I think to all the regional judges out there, Will Post included, if you listen to this, Will, talk to the folks, talk to the people that matter about allowing token, if you will, or proxy jumbo cards in lieu of all 4 cards, if you know, because that's gonna be annoying. So I'm just saying.
I could also see. So you know how in the 25th anniversary set, Sean, all the cards had like this little phrase that said something along the lines of like, this is not playable, or like, these are not legal. I could also see the jumbo cards possibly having that. It'd be hard to tell on here because like the bottom is like cut off in these images, but I could see something like that. Like, you cannot play this card.
I mean,
I could see that.
I feel like the size of the card should be the given. If it can't fit into your deck, it's not illegal. But that's my point. Is it's like it's a proxy. The same way that when the most of the cards say flip a coin, but then we roll a die because a die is considered equivalent to flipping a coin. And that's just what people do in Pokemon. And I'm wondering, it might be interesting. And the thing is, for a tag team marker, like to say that you've used your GX, the GX counter or marker doesn't have to be only what Pokemon has provided. You can have anything be your GX marker, right? That's another sort of
as long as like both players and the judge acknowledge it.
Right. So I'm like, I think the main thing you'd have to watch out for with that is like if you have any cards that talk about number of cards in the discard or whatever, if that ever came up, you just have to make sure when your 4 pieces are on the field that the 4 pieces that make it up are kind of set to the side so that they are not counted in your discard at any point for whatever reason.
But when the Pokemon die,
when the Pokemon dies, you put them back in.
Put it in the discard.
Yes, exactly.
It's just something that could get lost easily if you're not careful. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I want to see jumbo cards in play. That's...
Yeah, give me something useful to use the jumbo cards instead of me just pasting them on my wall like I have now, wondering what in God's name am I going to do with these gigantic, cool-looking cards.
I want to know your thought, Jake. I know when we first heard about these, we sort of debated whether or not they would come in packs or they would come in a promo set like this. And I think, I think we did say, like, at least I remember saying, like, I think it's going to be a promo thing because I can't imagine the pack opening experience of pulling Mewtwo's left leg. So, do you think that they're going to do all the rest of any V unions that may come out in this style now?
Ooh, all the rest in this style. I find that hard to believe. I find that kind of hard to believe. Well, no, actually, maybe I don't find that hard to believe. Maybe, because they wouldn't probably make a ton of these, right? How many legends were there?
Yeah, you're right. There aren't too many Legends cards.
Yeah, it's not like GXs or V-Maxs where there's like a plethora of those. Like the Legends. I don't know how many there were off the top of my head. I'm gonna say like 5 or 6.
Yeah,
6 might be a good number for it. But like I could, if it's like 6 or 7, I could see boxes of these going around. It's kind of weird though that they went from Amazing Rares now over to V Unions, though. I still feel weird about that. I feel like they had Amazing Rares and then they just left Amazing Rares.
They did. They kind of did. But it's like Prism Stars, right? Prism Stars were only around for a couple of sets.
Yeah, I feel like they were around longer, though.
That's true. I think you're
right.
Than
the Amazing Rares. Maybe Amazing Rares somehow make a comeback. I got no idea.
I would love that, but I think, yeah.
We don't know. But again, this comes with 4 TCG booster packs. It comes, I think in Japan at least. I don't remember if it's in this as well. 1 helpful supporter card featuring Professor Burnett. So that is very interesting. A new card with Professor Burnett. The 4 promo cards of the Pokemon. And then the 1 oversized card along with a code.
All right. Do you think anybody... I wonder, this is a side note, as the code card is going to include all 4 pieces of the V Union for sure.
And possibly like Professor Burnett.
Yes. Do you think that they're going to be locked, meaning you can't trade any individual piece on PTCGO?
No, because none of the promos are ever locked, are they?
No, not locked to the account, but meaning like locked together. Like you have to trade them as a set of 4. Because like otherwise, I don't think it would make sense if once they go into PTCGO, you can't pull them from packs. They're only promos.
I'm gonna say no because I don't think Legends are like that. I think Legends are separate pieces. Because I have pulled Legends cards, and like they're not together on the account. They're right next to each other, but they're not together on the account. And I don't think Pokemon would mess with that, to be honest. Like, think about PTCGO, think about the development of PTCGO, think about how they run PTCGO. No way. They don't put it together. It's not that cool.
So do you think there are going to be people like, meme trading just individual pieces of different mons.
Oh yeah. 100%. I'm
I don't
sure
know.
when Legends was the new set, like people were doing that with Legends.
But I mean, that's why. But again, Legends come out of a pack, and this comes out of a set, like a box, and that's why I'm like,
Yeah,
I
but
don't know.
think about the programming you have to do
Yes, you're
in
right.
order to put that together. Like, because it's not just adding new cards in, it's adding like a new feature that like recognizes it as one card, but also four cards.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know much about computer programming and I don't know much about like software development and things like that, but I would imagine that it would be something new that they would have to implement and update in PTCGO. And it's already hard enough sometimes to just put the new cards in and make things work correctly, right? You know, Martial Arts Dojo was banned for like 8 months.
Oh lordy.
So yeah, there's Professor Burnett right there for those of you that can watch on YouTube. Choose up to any 2 cards from your deck and discard them, then shuffle your deck.
Yeah. Yep. This
Not
makes
as good
sense.
as Battle Compressor.
But that will be banned. It's fine. It's gonna get banned.
Burnett?
No,
Or
Battle Compressor.
Why would Battle Compressor get banned?
And expanded? Wait, you could just
I don't
choose
think
3
V
pieces of
unions are
this and
like.
throw it in the trash?
I don't think V unions are so overpowered that you need a banned compressor and expanded.
Yeah,
They would
we'll
have done that
see.
with like Mewtwo GX or any like Marshadow GX or
We'll see.
Night March
I mean, we shall
or
see.
Mad Party.
I don't know. Again, we shall see. I think if you can get this bad boy out turn 1 going second, that's pretty gross.
Yeah, but you gotta turn 1 going second. You have to also get like 4 energies on it.
Well, no, I don't think. But like turn 1 going second, remember how they all have a colorless cost that can accelerate energy onto itself?
Yeah, but that's your turn 2 accelerating energy.
No, turn 1 going second, you can attack. So you
Well,
accelerate the energy on your turn
no.
1.
I mean, that's what I mean. Like, you're not doing damage. You're not like donking
True.
or
Yeah,
anything like
it's not
that.
a donk deck. You're right. It's probably not a donk deck. Although, Metal Saucer. But,
I
probably.
mean, if you can get this out, well, no, actually, you can't against a donk deck. You probably lose because you can't get this out as your starter Pokemon
That's true.
unless you choose to go second or unless you choose to go first, and you just hit Battle Compressor and whatnot. Then if you were to get that off, donk deck loses. But donk deck is just a ladder deck.
Yeah. Anyways, now we're just. I'm just saying. I think Battle Compressor is going to get,
No,
going to get banned.
no, I don't believe it. I don't think it will. But you know what I do believe, Sean? The Pokemon Company has continued with the signature promo cards that we will be getting Marnies on August 2nd, I believe. It's like very beginning of August here in the next couple weeks. It's the milk carton box, Sean. The milk carton Marnie box is what I like to call it. But we've got 4 more in Japan. We have Leon, we have B, we have Raihan, and we have my lovely, wonderful love of my life, Nessa. All getting signature promo cards. Hitting the lottery as of today. These are going to be introduced by Japanese Lottery, similar to how they've been doing it lately with a lot of their releases in Japan. The lottery is going from now until I believe the 18th or something like that. But if you want to jump in, you might as well just jump in right now to get these because I think they're going to be popular. I think there's a reason why they're making more of them, Sean.
Yeah. I mean, this is a cool. I like this concept. It's just fun to have alternate arts of cards that exist, and there's like this signature element, and yeah, I mean, you always would have loved to see, the nice thing about the Marnie box coming here is it includes, I believe, it's the alternate art, full art Marnie plus the signature Marnie, both of which are very cool. Obviously, there are no alternate art full arts of any of these, so they're just getting these, but the art around them is great. Like, the Nessa one that you said, it comes in this lovely box, great artwork. What is this thing that it comes with? Is this just the back of the box?
So this comes with one 4-pocket binder, 10
That's
pages
it.
towards 80 cards. So I think that right there, what you're showing, the big like art thing, I think that is the binder. Cannot confirm, but I'm pretty sure that is it. 10 pages stores 80 cards is a pretty nice sized binder,
Oh
I
yeah.
would say.
I mean,
It's
especially
pretty
if it's
solid
like
binder.
if you're like this binder is there to just show off some like really cool cards that you have, right? It's not like your playset binder or anything.
I
This
mean, the Nessa binder is going to hold all my Rowlets and Nessas.
I will say I really love the Raihan, especially for me. Like this is just such a cool, like it's just great art, you know? I like it.
It's almost like, at least for B, Nessa, and Raihan, it almost is like before they were gym leaders,
Yeah, that's a
right?
good
Because you
point.
see B right there. She's in like kind of a, not schoolgirl outfit, but like she's not in her like gym karate uniform, right? And then Nessa, she's a model in the games as well, so she's like very luxurious, just having, some water or something like that. Whew, Sean, stop! It's getting hot in here. I'm gonna have to turn on my air conditioning.
Okay.
It's so gorgeous. And then Raihan just chilling out. Raihan's a little bit harder to read. And then I would assume, I don't even know about Leon though, because like he looks like a champion still.
Yeah, I mean the Charizard curled up in the corner is very cool. I'll grant
It's
them
like
that.
all of these arts are really, really great. Really, really good in my opinion, Sean. But more that it comes with a booster pack each of Silver Lance and Black Poltergeist, which is the Chilling Rain packs. The 2 Chilling Rain packs over there. 1 Skyscraping Perfect booster box. Also Blue Sky Stream, which was the new set that released on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't talked about it on the Metapod, but oh my God, some of those alternate arts, Sean. I would highly encourage everyone to look up the set list for those 2 sets combined, because good God, it looks gorgeous. You get 1 Eevee Heroes booster pack, which is going to be, we know how hype Eevee Heroes is. 1 signed trainer card and 1 collector's guide. I don't know what the collector's guide is though.
It's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. There's no.
I don't know if that's just like, here's all of the signed promos as of right now. Like
maybe
get them all.
Yeah, I don't know. There's no artwork or imagery for that part,
but MSRP is going to be 2057 yen, which according to
like
USD
$20.
is about $18.50.
Yeah.
Now you do have to lottery this. You do have to like win part of the lottery on the Japanese Pokemon Center website. July 12th through the 18th. Thank you for highlighting that real quick, Sean. That is the period where it will be available for lottery. So I would do that right now if you wanted to do it. You do have to make an account on the Japanese Pokemon Center website. And then also you have to have like a Japanese address in order to get these things whenever you order from Pokemon Japan. I would recommend to anybody, if you ever want to do stuff like Pokemon Japan, you ever want to order exactly from the Pokemon Japan websites, look up OKJLove on like Twitch and Twitter. He's very active in the Pokemon card collecting community. Not a player, but he's very well aware of like of playing and things like that. He opens up a lot of Japanese product. His Discord community will help you out, make an account and make sure you've got everything and direct you to servers that you can go to for getting these products. And JLo's been a friend of mine, so I recommend him all day, every day.
Oh, cool. I had no idea. That's very cool.
Yeah, Sean, I got friends in all places.
I'm friends
Mr. Popular, Sean.
in Japan.
They say you peaked during high school. Psych. I just graduated college for the 2nd time. I'm definitely not peaked right now.
I think that's all the product news that we were going to talk about this week. And then we were going to do a meta update as well. But Jake, before we get into the meta, do you want to talk a little bit about the Pokemon community drama that happened over the last week?
So Frosted Caribou, a wonderful content creator on YouTube. We've talked about them a couple times. Another friend of mine, I would say. She found this video of this podcast interview of Gary. I don't remember his last name. He's the king of Pokemon, the dude from Pawn Stars, whatever, had like the 1,000 not 1,000, but
He
like
had
a bunch of Charizards.
Yeah.
Has dubbed himself the Pokemon King. Okay, whatever. Every person has to create their own mantra, whatever. But she listened in on an interview about like Pokemon card pricing and things like that, where Gary had a PSA Charizard. I can't remember the exact grade of the Charizard,
It was a
but it was a
BGS
PSA
10.
Charizard. Is it BGS 10?
Yeah, one of the 3 BGS 10s in the world.
It was signed on the shell by, I'm going to botch up the name. Sean, can you say the name?
I think it's like Matsuhiro Arita or something like that. Arita, the
Yes.
artist.
You've probably seen them on Twitter the last like 2 weeks, getting a ton of love. A lot of people from the community showing their favorite arts of the card. And Gary made a statement saying that he was thinking about scrubbing off the seal on the PSA graded card of the signature because it essentially ruins the card. That's not an exact quote, but if you listen to the post, you listen to the video, it's pretty much what it says.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he was like, the signature on this card, he said, and this is not me saying this, so the signature on the card does not add any value to the card. And, you know, he's even considered recasing it, right? Like putting a new case on it that's just clean and fresh. And his rationale is that, like, it's a BGS 10 first edition Charizard. There's only 3 of them in the world. So the vast majority of the value of that card comes from it being a BGS 10 first edition Charizard. That the signature itself is an afterthought. The words he chose to use, though, were just very poor words.
I think like I get what he was trying to say.
Yeah.
Because I mean he's on like a sales podcast. You know, he talks about prices of Pokemon cards, graded, ungraded, stuff like that. But it was very, like as you're saying, like it came off super poor, like super disrespectful. Like the first time I listened to that video, it hurt. It hurt to listen as a card collector, a card fan. You know, and
I know Boo's initial, so it blew up into this whole Twitter drama, which then blew up into like a YouTube and Instagram, the whole 9 yards. People, to your point, showing support for Arita and kind of coming after Gary for being like disrespectful in the way that he worded it, even if his intention wasn't to be disrespectful. All Gary needed to do was say, like, I didn't mean for it to come off like that. I'm so sorry. Like, and Boo said that. It's like, kind of, that's all you had to do. But instead, it was just like, you took this out of context because it was a financial podcast. And it's like, well, sure, the context of what you were referencing, but and then it blew up into drama. And then there was a whole other set of drama that came along with that of like people going after Boo. I mean, as a female-bodied content creator in the Pokemon world,
I think anybody who listens to this podcast, because I think we have intelligent people that listen to this podcast, right? I don't think we attract dumb idiots. Can probably put 2 and 2 together of when a highly regarded male figure is confronted by a female figure. I think a lot of people can understand when, Sean, you say that a lot of people started attacking Boo in retaliation. You could probably understand the very misogynistic remarks that were given. I'm not going to get into detail about all that. The only like response that I want to touch on is something that pissed me off and got me really riled up. I actually cursed like the first time in our Discord server, and then at everyone, telling them how mad I was about it. Gary accused Frosted Caribou of having a mental issue, just out of the blue, in responses to his Twitter followers. No, like, real justification, that's not the right word, evidence It may be a better
Yeah,
word.
I know. He has no
To
evidence. He has no idea. He
It's
doesn't know
it's
Boo.
like when you're a kid and you're at the playground and somebody says, "Jake, why did you do that? That was mean." And you're like, "You're stupid." That's literally what just happened, except on a magnitude of scale of someone who is very influential and very powerful, I would say.
Yeah.
And it's truly disgusting. And I can never be more appalled at men. Men are the worst species to exist, and I will stand by that statement.
Yeah, I mean, did you watch Boo's whole video about it?
I watched both videos.
Okay.
So there was the first video that came around, and I thought it was a good video. It's been like 2 weeks since I've watched that one though, so I
Okay.
can't. I didn't rewatch it before this pod. It's
But no, the second one, the one that's unlisted on Boo's channel.
yeah, there was so she released a second one that was unlisted, and that one was also Monka-esque for all my Twitch people that may know what that phrase means.
I mean, I watched that one especially, and I watched the clip that started it all, I should say. My main takeaway though is I agree with all the points that you made, Jake, that like when he went after Boo for things that he can't know about this individual, and like claiming that Boo's either doing this for money or because they're mentally unfit, and it's just like, okay, you've lost your whole argument or opportunity to redeem yourself too. Like you've decided that none of that matters to you.
You've really shown that you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, and it just made me think like there's so many people, and I think this is important for like anyone in any community to keep in mind, especially in this social media age we live in. The vast majority of internet celebrities, even celebrities, but particularly like YouTube, Twitter, all of that, like internet celebrities, they're people that probably never planned on being famous in any way, and are probably, most of them, not terribly equipped to deal with that level of scrutiny and publicity. Like this guy, Gary, I've seen other videos of his before all of this.
This is not the first time that I've heard that Gary has been a not so great person.
Oh, no, this is not me. Like, I think my point that I'm saying though is like, he has said like, he doesn't really understand social media all that well. And I just think that in general, I think it's a bad idea to put any creators, us included, on any sort of like a pedestal, because most of the people are doing things that they enjoy. Some of them are grifters. Some of them are not great people. But at the end of the day, like the people who are defending Gary, it's just like, this guy clearly is in the wrong. Why are you defending him? Like, he can be in the wrong and you can be upset at him, but you could also still enjoy some of the things that I don't know. It just made me think like there's like so much scrutiny that gets put on to people when they decide to be celebrities and on the internet, that like it's never going to turn out good for most of those people, because people are not designed to be famous in that respect. You're like, nobody's.
I tell my Twitch people this all the time, and the people that are in like our Discord and stuff like that with my like Atrocious Gameplay community. I always say, like, never hold anybody on the internet on a pedestal. Like you said, like you should never watch a creator thinking that they could do no wrong, be no wrong, that they're literally perfect humans. Because I mean, Sean and I don't know much. I don't know Sean's stuff, but like we both have demons, right? Sean and I have messed up in life. We are not perfect. But here on the Metapod, hypothetically, if someone were able to put us on a pedestal, like we don't show you those things though. We don't tell you the different bad things that we've done in life. We only let you see this like thing. So the same goes with content creators or just like influential people in general, like you're saying, internet famous people. It's that same concept of like just hold people accountable.
Yeah.
If somebody makes a stupid statement and they don't back down from it or try to reword that statement like Gary could have done.
See that, and that's the difference, right? That's what makes, like, everybody should be allowed to, I think, make mistakes, and it's how they respond to those mistakes that allow you to be like, okay, like, don't put people on pedestals. Anybody can make a mistake. See how they respond, and then just try to genuinely evaluate: is this person somebody I really want to like keep watching and following? Because Gary was given so many chances to just be like, I'm sorry, or that's not how I meant it, I'm sorry. But no, he chose to double down on the context and then call Boo unfit, like mentally unfit. And I'm like, what are you doing?
I would recommend watching the videos, the explanations. I'm not going to sit here and, try to tell you everything that happened or went down and things like that, because I don't think that gives you a perfect perspective. So I'd recommend checking out Frosted Caribou. Even like, I don't know if Gary's even put out videos about it or like responses. I think there was like one post that he made that he deleted, but he still has like an Instagram live video or something like that up. I don't know if he's deleted it since he was called out on that. But like, anyways, try to look at all the perspectives, form your own judgment, listen to that original podcast episode that kind of started it all, make your own opinion. But all I know is as soon as you start willy-nilly saying that somebody is mentally unstable, you are dealing and promoting the stigma that kills millions of people every year. And that's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
So in my mind, your ass.
Jake, do you want to get back into the meta? No.
I mean, we can. Sean, I've been loving lately. If we could look at the Sunday Open first. This has been a trend that has been upward for the last several weeks, and this is kind of how I feel. This is the peak of what the kids are calling Ice Trae. Sean, do you have a name for this deck? I know that naming decks right now is a hot topic.
I mean,
that we have not discussed on the Metapod.
I'm down for people calling it Ice Trae. The whole like who gets to decide the name thing is, I don't know.
I think
man.
It's the stupidest conversation.
It is a stupid conversation. Can we also just say, I don't know how you is it Zhang or Zhang, 15-0, boy. Oh dang, that's a good record. I can't remember the last time I saw 15-0.
That is grueling. But this was the Sunday Open results that happened this past week. 1, 2, 3, 4 Ice Riders making it within the top 8, taking half of the top 8. Not winning the event, but taking 3 out of the 4 top 4 spots as well. Very, very cool to see this deck that maybe didn't have the hot start that Shadowrider had, now getting a ton of attention in a couple different builds as well. So this one that we're looking at right now is the Inteleon build. Because Ice Rider Calyrex caps at 250, right? That's the cap that it does if you discard the energies. The quick shooting Inteleon, very good card, by the way, been making it in a lot of decks as of late. A lot of people have. The quick shooting Inteleon allows you to get those extra damage counters to do 270, 290, maybe build a little bit up and end up doing 310 or 330 in the turn, knocking out pretty much everything in quote unquote one shot, along with using the Sobble to Inteleon line build with like the shady dealings and things like that, being able to have that consistency of grabbing whatever trainer you need. It's become a lot of people's like favorite deck. I mean, personally, I like this deck a lot. I haven't really been able to play it because I don't have the cards. But I've really enjoyed watching a lot of Ice Trae play. I think it's fun. I think it's kind of cool. I think it's a little bit rewarding. You know, Melanie is a cool supporter. And there's a lot of different things that you can do inside this list with like a reset stamp, you know, the Leon there, things like that. So I like Ice Trae right now.
Yeah, and I mean it's a nice list too, because I know that for like a week or two, Decidueye kind of was on the upward trend. And you know, because people were like, new meta, everyone's testing out new cards, nobody's thinking about the walls. And these types of decks actually do fairly well against it because you have, you know, you have mons like Inteleon, either one, that are going to do 70 plus the damage counters or 120, right? And some bench snipe that can sort of hit over and through those Decidueyes. They're not weak to grass. So, you know, it's a nice deck that can kind of answer both the wall decks that would normally stop a V in a VMAX deck, as well as, you know, the one thing I'm surprised about that I'm not seeing in these lists, and I know we talked about it, at least in this one, is like having no Cheryl in here, because there is something about, well, if you're going to discard all of your energy anyways, why wouldn't you just throw a Cheryl in to heal between turns? But, you know, I'm sure there are reasons this person got second.
I think the reason about that is the healing maybe doesn't happen as much as you want. So, like, instead of the one Cheryl, they had a one Marnie. And opting to maybe get a little bit more draw consistency, or that Leon. I was mentioning how sometimes your damage is capped at like 270 with the quick shooting, or, you know, 290 or whatever. You have a Leon on 290, that's 320. Then if you have damage from a previous turn and you have 310, that's 340. You're knocking out every single VMAX in the format with Leon. So I think that's the thought. I think just the value of like more draw or more damage just kind of won over the idea of whatchamacallit, a little bit of healing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you can see here, I pulled up another list for the listeners. The YouTube viewers will know, but very different in terms of the support list here.
So this is going into a scoop up net build with Chinchino. Chinchino using that make do to draw 2 cards, sort of like trade with Zoroark, and you have all these Pokemon that allow you to utilize scoop up net with like Snorlax instead of like a switch card. You just scoop up net. You have Zigzagoon, Mewtwo, and stuff to get these supporters back. And I think that this is a pretty cool. I'm interested because I think both builds are pretty good. Which is very interesting. A lot of times when we see a good deck, we usually see like one good build of the deck. We don't usually see like 2 different archetypes or engines, you could say, in the deck. So it's very interesting to see these types of things. And then like in this one over here that you're seeing, you know, you can run Great Catcher in there as well, because everybody still plays the Dene.
It's true.
You know, people still play. Just think about using the catcher to scoop up, you know, the Gengar Mimikyu VMAX, the Trevenant Dusknoir, or I'm sorry, not VMAX, a GX tag team, the Trevenant Dusknoir GX tag team.
Well, you also like think about ADP, right? Like if you're playing against ADP, they get their thing off, they go to the back. Just Great Catcher the ADP, and maybe you've pinged it with a couple of damage counters here. Or you Leon it, right? You can Great Catcher Leon, the ADP, and then boom, you're good to go.
There's a lot of like really cool things that I think you can do. I think I personally prefer the Inteleon build. I like the ability to search out exactly what I need in the decks, but the evolution of Ice Trae is really, really cool. I like the deck. And one of the things that I've really liked about Chilling Reign as well is like, so you look at battle styles, Rapid Strike and Single Strike, the 2 poster childs of the set, one was way more dominant than the other.
Yeah.
Rapid Strike, I think everyone can agree, is better than Single Strike, but Single Strike has never really been like good.
Yeah.
It's made it in here or there in the top 8s and big events of these online tournaments. But now with Chilling Reign, the 2 poster childs, Shadow and Ice Rider, they're both like pretty good decks. They're both really like some of the more top tier meta decks around right now. And so I congratulate Pokemon in that aspect of like game design and stuff, making it work, because it's a shame that Single Strike is not good in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I think it's because, you know, Rapid Strike, it lends itself to more complex play. And usually that favors better players playing better. So, but with Ice Rider, it's, I still think long-term that Shadowrider will be the better deck out of the 2, largely because if you think about right now, the counters to Shadowrider are, because it was so good, are really like you have Galarian Moltres, and you have the Spiritombs of the world. There's even an ADP, if we can actually switch over to Shintaro Ito's list from
This list is whack.
Chill Series, ADP Moltres. It like, so it's not to say you don't run Zacian, you do, but you run 2 Galarian Moltres and you run the Naganadel and Guzzlord, just to have another big body, I guess, and maybe you Chaotic Order GX instead of Altered Creation. But yeah, you have all these Darkness Pokemon out here that I think are really good techs against Shadow Rider, whereas Ice Rider, it's not like there's a lot of techs for Ice Rider. Either you're playing a metal type deck or you're not.
Either you have a Zacian or a Luke Metal, or you don't.
Well, I mean, yeah, but like those aren't techs. You can't throw those in with all the metal energy into most decks. Whereas this Galarian Moltres, like the fact that, like, look at this deck. This deck is wild. What is this? What am I looking at, Jake?
So to anyone who can see this deck, or can't see this deck, I should say, whether you're on Spotify or Apple or whatever, there are 4 types of basic energies, including some special energies in this. I don't even want to call it an ADP Zacian list. I just want to call this like Moltres box.
Yeah.
Like that's like what I want to call it. There's 2 Moltres, 2 Zacian, 1 ADP, 1 Naganadel Guzzlord, 1 Galarian Zapdos, along with your Mawile and Dedennes and Crobats. You get 4 E-Switch. And I've been watching a lot of play lately, and I've seen some ADP lists. Usually I don't care about ADP because I hate it. But I've been very intrigued about how ADP in general right now is fitting in Moltres with multiple energy types now. Like without the Naganadel Guzzlord, you're still sitting with 3 different energies. And I watched a 1K tournament in Kentucky, I think it was, over the weekend. I watched a 1K tournament over there of IRL play. And I watched an ADP Zacian deck with 2 Galarian Moltres absolutely obliterate the floor with Shadow Rider. It's absurd with the energy acceleration that it has, and like having that colorless spot on it. It's actually absurd on how good of a tech that can be, especially in a build like ADP Zacian, you know, where we've seen a lot of these flex spots of people trying these different things throughout the time. Like Clay is the biggest one that comes to mind. You remember the Clay builds of ADP?
Yeah, yeah.
Where you're just discarding a bajillion cards and having a ton of different items in there. Like, it's very interesting, and it's made its way. We saw in the Sunday Open results, there was a Rapid Strike Urshifu Moltres list. Like, I wonder, especially post-rotation, does Galarian, because I've seen some people talk about it, like Celios Network, how Shadow Cali Rex Rider V-Max is still going to be a very, very good deck. I wonder if Moltres, because of its ability to grab,
to accelerate to itself,
the energy, to accelerate itself from the discard, is this a tech that becomes in a lot more decks? Like, do we start seeing like half one thing and then half Moltres in a lot of decks until people stop playing Shadow Cali Rider?
I mean, I think you're right. I think a 2-of count is clearly, I think that's extreme, and an extreme response to how much Shadow Rider is in the meta, because you don't play 2 in a game, probably. You play 1, and then, you know, if you're playing ADP, you basically play 1, and then you find a way to get your other 3 prizes or 2 prizes some other way. But yeah, I think it definitely becomes like a 1-of in a lot of decks for as long as Shadow Rider is in the game. Especially if, you know, you have the space to play around with this. Now, I will say Viridian Forest is rotating. And correct me if I'm wrong. What is our energy search card that would be legal? Is it just energy search?
Just energy search, I believe.
So that would be the only thing in my mind that would...
Yeah, no spinner, no Viridian Forest.
Yeah. So without those 2 cards, I actually might see Galarian Moltres not being a viable tech. So we'll see what else gets printed. Because I do think that only one basic energy search card in a format is very low. Very
It's
low.
It's not going to last,
Yeah.
I feel like.
I agree with you. I think that they will print something else. Peony is not a good replacement because, yes, you can go get cards, but it's not good enough. So,
it's just very interesting, the evolution of ADP throughout the last couple months, how it stayed pretty much stagnant. And now with Chilling Reign, it's almost not in ADP list.
Yeah. I mean, basically, I think this list is I think we might have talked about this a few weeks back, that somebody is going to build a counter box, right? This is a counter box, right? You have the Zapdos.
This is pretty much, a counter box. You have your Shadow Calyrex Rider counter and Moltres, the most popular deck in the format. You have Zapdos for Eternatus.
Yep.
And then you have ADP Zacian Boss Game for literally every other deck in the format.
Well, you have Nagaguz too, which, like, depending on the matchup, like, it can heal itself. It might be a pretty annoying card to play against if you are, I don't know, for whatever reason, a single prize deck in this format. I don't know. But, like, yeah, I think this is a counter box. And I think between this and you also saw in the Sunday Open, getting, what is this, 11th place Spiritomb. Spiritomb has seen a little bit of success. So, you know, I think this is just like a very mature format. Mature meaning like all of the cards that are ever going to exist in Standard for this set of cards are now out. The next time we get a new set, there will be a rotation. And so, like, I think you usually do see.
Well, we have like 3 weeks of chaos.
Well, sure. I mean, 3 weeks of absolute madness, but that doesn't count. That's all. That's just the Wild West.
I will say though that, like, dark decks in general, because of like Shadow Calyrex Riders popularity, have just been thriving in that. You know, like Spiritomb, I still think that if you want to learn how to sequence properly, play Spiritomb and play a lot of Spiritomb. I think that deck is very good at teaching sequencing and like rewarding and like teaching about risks and rewards in like Pokemon trading card game. And then also there was that Mewtwo dark deck. Do you remember seeing that? It was very brief. It came up like I think it was more popular last week, but it's basically like Malamar V-Max, except it was like
just
Mewtwo.
Yeah, it was like a dark box with Mewtwo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, right? Like, because with so much Shadowrider being played and it being so successful, which, let's just say, it hasn't changed. Shadowrider is still very successful, even with all the people teching against it. And I think that just goes to show, to your point, Jake, that it will be a powerful deck even post-rotation, because the techs may not be as valuable, but
I mean, you're gonna for your Weavile decks, you're gonna lose red and blue, and you're gonna lose Weavile, so that hurts. A lot.
I mean, but you know, Galarian Moltres and other cards might make Dark Box somewhat okay. But I did pull this up, so Jake, I kind of called an audible here, and I was like, okay, what was one other deck that has sort of come up in the last few weeks that I think is something worth talking about? And I love that Malamar V-Max has finally found a home, because this card, I tried to make it a deck when I was actually still making content months and months ago. This card is absolutely broken, and I actually think that post-rotation, it will be the most annoying deck. In the same way that Luke Metal or Gengar Mimikyu is an annoying deck to play against, I think this will replace it because of Galarian Moltres. You know, and it's just because 180 damage is a lot. Choosing a card in your opponent's hand, putting it on the bottom of the deck, it's not quite as good as Trevenant Dusknoir. I'll grant you that, but it's still annoying. And yeah, if you can combine that with any other sort of hand control or Marnie shenanigans, oh my gosh.
I was like on this list that there's 3 Judge Whistles.
I mean,
very much committing to the Judge Whistle. It's an awesome card.
I mean, I guess the thought there is just like it's free draw. It's just draw one.
No, yeah. I mean, it's draw power. I've known a couple decks over the days that, you know, since Judge Whistle has been around and I've been playing, like that Judge Whistle has been used, and it's very niche and it's not used very often, but it's a cool card.
Yeah. So I like these decks. I like so I think if you are looking for some sort of a rogue deck to consider, I haven't played enough of this format or enough to tell you how good Malamar really is, but I think on its surface,
I think that if you're a newer player and you don't have a ton of cards, I mean, like really, like the only like super pricey things in this deck are like Marshadow and Mew, because those are both like $10+ cards, the holo rares. But with like everything else in this deck, you can win some games at like a local league if you're starting to see local league now, unofficial league, but like you're meeting up with your local league now every week. If you want to build a deck and you don't want to pay a ton of money, like I think Malamar V-Max can be the way to go. I don't think Malamar V-Max is that expensive. And a lot of these cards that you see here are promo cards as well. So it could be pretty easy to build, in my opinion.
Yeah. And
Malamar V-Max is like $4.
Yeah, I think to me this is a really good budget rogue pick because it'll catch a lot of your opponents off guard. Very few of them will have ever played against a Malamar deck. And depending on how you want to build it, now this is obviously like a Mewtwo Dark Box build with Weavile, which can be sneaky because the T-Tar being able to like swing for 210, take an extra prize on GXs, it's pretty nasty. You got a little bit of type coverage here between Dark and Psychic and different weaknesses.
Like Pokemon that are weak to fighting and Pokemon that are not weak to fighting.
Yeah, exactly. And you also got like, Malamar being weak to grass. Well, there's not a lot of grass out there, but, if you got fighting Pokemon that you're up against, like the Urshifu decks, you just don't play those. So, yeah, it's interesting.
It's very cool. I like it. I like how the format overall in Chilling Reign has widened, and there's a lot of new decks out there. There's a lot of cool decks out there that could do well. I just find that really entertaining.
Is there anything else, Jake, that you wanted to bring up for this week, or is that it? Is that an episode?
My local league is starting to meet on July 26th. I think the only thing I can really build, even though I pulled 3, so I've opened up some Chilling Reign. I opened up a booster box, a pre-release kit, and then somebody from our community sent me like 16 packs from like ETBs from the Pokemon Center.
Oh.
I opened 3 Shadow Calyrex Rider VMAXs. So like I'm very close to building that, but I think the deck that I have to build right now is Luke Metal, sadly.
Because you have more of those cards.
Yeah, like I only need to buy like 1 Zacian, 2 Malolanas, and an Aegislash-V. And the Aegislash-V is a flex card, because that's really just for Decidueye. Do I really care about Decidueye?
I mean, at locals, how sweaty are your locals? That's the question, right?
I mean, we have pretty good locals.
I'm not saying they're not good, but good and sweaty are two different things. Like, who's going to be... It'd be like the people who bring control to locals, right? And you're like...
I feel like it's going to be a lot of Shadow Calyrex Rider.
I mean, if that's the case, then I think Luke Metal's not a terrible option.
No.
So
I want to build Ice Trae, but it's a little too expensive right now for a guy who only has 1 Ice Rider V.
Well, I mean, having those 3 Shadowrider VMAXs is very... I mean, you're on the right path.
I don't think I'd trade them though.
No.
So like a lot of people, like you could trade those to get like different things that you want, like cheaper things. But I don't want to. I want to keep my... I'd rather just like buy the Vs. I think they're coming out as promos in the near future. So just wait until like those are out and real cheap.
I think the price on those will also drop when the next set comes out, because then everyone's going to be...
for sure.
Everyone's going to be on their Rayquaza train, right? And I think that'll have and I think that'll have an effect on like the Shadowrider, the amount of people play it, the cost of the cards. So yeah, I think if you wait until like mid-August, then you'll be good.
Yeah, because I don't see Pokemon announcing at that point like IRL events are back yet. I don't see them doing it yet.
A little early.
Not until like Delta has been dealt with accordingly, the Delta strain.
Oh boy. One day we will have a podcast where COVID is not a thing. One day.
I went so long without mentioning the fatal word.
I know.
That's all right.
Well,
it's hard to not talk about
No,
when you're a competitive podcast.
Where people
an
get
extent.
together and manhandle each other's property.
Yeah, but you know what? We're not just a competitive podcast. We talk about the news. We talk about what's going on in the community to keep you all informed about what's revolving around the meta. And you know what? Thanks for listening. Make sure to please leave a 5-star review. 46
so close.
reviews. But it's technically 45 5-star reviews. We got 1-star review without a comment, you coward. But we're still at 46 reviews. So if we could get 4 more people to do reviews, we're so close to 50. I still haven't thought of something to do at 50. Maybe we'll just give each other a high five. Maybe I'll promise to meet Sean at Gen Con.
Yes. Yeah. Get us to 50 and Jake and I will meet up at Gen Con and maybe Jake, I can bring the equipment and we'll do a live pod at Gen Con. So 50 reviews. Gen Con is mid-September, folks. So you have a little bit of time.
Yeah, I think we'll hit 50 before then, but still.
Something to strive for, Jake.
Yeah, we always want to grow. We always want to strive. Keep practicing. Keep dealing on PTCGO. IRL events are almost here. But have a great rest of the podcast. Bye.
Bye.